Hey, welcome back. I'm so glad to see you today on Daily Hope. Today's a holiday called Good Friday, but I actually like to refer to it as Bloody Friday. It's a good day in that it's the day that we were reconnected back to God through Jesus' death on the cross, but it was a day of suffering and agony for Jesus. In fact, we've been following Jesus' footsteps the week leading up to Resurrection Sunday, Easter Sunday. And we know exactly what happens on that Friday. And in fact, it was on this Friday that Jesus would be crucified. When you've heard of Jesus being in the grave for 3 days, it was partially Friday, all of Saturday, and part of Sunday. So in the Bible, 3-day math is kind of like hotel math, right? If you want to be at a hotel all day Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday, sometime you're going to leave in the afternoon, you'll end up getting charged for 3 days, even though you're only there for 2 nights, because you want to be there earlier than check in and later than check out. I'm probably getting distracted, but the point is this. Jesus' crucifixion is an event that really takes all of Friday. He'll be in the tomb all of Saturday, and then he'll be in that tomb Sunday into the morning when he rises from the dead. Now, I want to really point out last night, Thursday night, is the night when Jesus was betrayed. And I encouraged you to read all of Matthew 26. In Matthew 26, we were told in verse 57 that Jesus had been led to the home of Caiaphas, the high priest. So the very house where the religious leaders were conniving to come up with a plan, the very house where Judas came and met them, it's in that house that Jesus is now held. And these religious leaders who hate him, they're going to pull an all-nighter, plotting how do we kill him. So that's all of Thursday night through the night hours. And then we're told in Matthew 27, starting at verse 1, very early in the morning. So early in the morning in this culture is before the sun rises. So this is probably 3 or 4 a.m., the leading priests and the elders of the people met again to lay plans for putting Jesus to death. They bound him, led him away, and took him to Pilate, the Roman governor. Now, if you can open your Bible to Matthew 27, you're going to then see some verses about Judas, who's going to have major regret and take his life. And then in verse 11, now Jesus was standing before Pilate, the Roman governor. Are you the king of the Jews? The governor asked him. Jesus replied, you have said it. It's as you say, I am the king of the Jews. Verse 13, but when the leading priests and elders made their accusations against him, Jesus remained silent. Quote, don't you hear all these charges they are bringing against you? Pilate demanded, but Jesus made no response to any of the charges, much to the governor's surprise. Now, I want to encourage you to read Matthew 27 today. I'm going to read a little bit more of it and do a longer daily hope than usual. I don't want you to miss the significance on this Friday. And if you're watching this on your way to work or something, maybe you can pause it here and pick it up later. This is the day that God laid down his life for you. And so I think it merits us just reading through the rest of the chapter. If you need to go to work or whatever right now, you can. That's a normal daily hope length. But I'm going to keep reading here in Matthew 27, verse 15. I'm going to not do commentary and just read through, okay? Now it was the governor's custom each year during the Passover celebration to release one prisoner to the crowd, anyone they wanted. This year there was a notorious prisoner, a man named Barabbas. As the crowds gathered before Pilate's house that morning, he asked them, which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah? Just then, as Pilate was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent him this message, leave that innocent man alone. I suffered through a terrible nightmare about him last night. Meanwhile, the leading priests and elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas to be released and for Jesus to be put to death. So the governor asked again, which of these do you want me to release to you? The crowd shouted back, Barabbas. Pilate responded, then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah? They shouted back, "Crucify him." "Why?" Pilate demanded. "What crime has he committed?" But the mob roared even louder, "Crucify him." Pilate saw that he wasn't getting anywhere and that a riot was developing, so he sent for a bowl of water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. The responsibility is yours." And all the people yelled back, "We will take responsibility for his death, we and our children." So Pilate released Barabbas to them. He ordered Jesus flogged with a lead-tipped whip, then turned him over to the Roman soldiers to be crucified. We will pick up there tomorrow.